tea for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Should I meet there?
What's up, USA CBD Expo? How you guys doing today?
So I'm Steven Tree. I came from Indonesia, a far, far away land from here. So today I'm gonna talk about Kratom. So what is the importance of the safety of the product in the industry? So I'm gonna start now. Okay. So the subject is Kratom, fear-worthy foliage or beneficial botanical. So it's presented by me, my company, TRIBEKA. So first of all, what is Kratom? Kratom is a tropical tree growing from 50 to 50 feet tall that is native to Indonesia. It has broad oval leaves that tapers to points, yellow flowers, and winged seeds. Traditionally, Kratom is used to treat mild medical problems such as fever, diarrhea, diabetes, and pain relief. That one is if you take in large doses to treat pain. And energy and mood booster is like coffee, or recreationally like beer and wine in small doses. So Kratom can be smoked, brewed as tea, or made into an extract. So the dose and effects. So users report both an opiate-like sedation and coca-like stimulation. I would like to keep it this way. You know, the extreme version of coffee and the mild version of morphine. So that is where the Kratom stands. I mean, it gives you one side the stimulating effects, but the other side, that relaxation, you know, dreamy reverie. The stimulating effects tend to predominate at low dose, which is starting from 2 to 4 grams, and which may cause alertness, increased energy and metabolism, as well as mild euphoria. Higher doses, like more than 5 grams, tend to be more tranquilizing, causing a mild dreamy reverie. Kratom is sometimes used as an opium substitute, this is important, for people to try to get off from the withdrawal symptom from traditional opioid drugs like heroin, something like that. It is good to treat their pain. Been found to suppress symptoms of opiate withdrawal. So the duration, when taken orally, Kratom effects typically become noticeable in 15 to 20 minutes and can last between 2 to 4 hours. The contradictions: do not operate heavy machinery, do not drive. Care should be taken if combining with other sedatives. I would say when it's combined with certain ingredients that is circulating in the show, the effect could be tremendous. So there is additional potential though. There are reports of physical dependency after frequent and heavy Kratom use. The withdrawal symptoms include irritability, yawning, diarrhea, and runny nose. However, the addiction is not too different from that of coffee, which is very mild, and really nothing to compare to traditional opioid withdrawal on the order of concern. The strains and potency. Leaves with green strains are often claimed to be more potent than those with red strains. You can see the picture there, the green is on the left. So it gives you this relaxing, tranquilizing effects. It's also very good for pain relief. Some people got like muscular pain or joint pains. Then it can relieve your pain in a very beautiful way. Kratom leaves differ greatly in potency depending on the type, grade, and freshness. So you can see there are 3 types of tree there. The one on the left, I call it grade B. So because it's below 4 years old, it's maybe like 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall. Then the middle one is the grade A, which is between 4 to 8 years old. And the right one, this is like wild-grown trees. They was not planted by man. They're already there since beginning of the time. So this is like the strongest effects where Kratom leaves can give you their potency. The chemistry, primary active chemicals are mitragynine, mitraphyllin, 7-hydroxymitragynine, all found in the leaves. You can see the compound, the chemical compounds down there is mitragynine, 7-hydroxy, and all that stuff. The mitragynine is partial agonist of the mu and delta opioid receptors, so that's why it treats, heroin users or drug addicts very, very effectively. This may account for its apparent efficacy in treating opiate withdrawal. Because kratom acts as both stimulant and sedative, secondary alkaloids may be pharmacologically important. So this is the kratom source in Southeast Asia. You can see Kalimantan, where the big island in the middle is where all these kratom trees grow. It is mainly grows in Indonesia. Indonesia is the biggest producing kratom countries in the world, anywhere else in the world. So we send to states around 1,000 tons of kratom powder every month. So that's why I believe like today's presentation matters, because there could be 10 to 15 million kratom users in the States. So we have to, do something good about this industry that is not yet regulated in the States by FDA. So we have to push forward for the regulation, for further regulation for import permits and local distribution in states. This is the product range where you can find kratom at gas stations in the States. They put energy drinks, they make pills, they make like repack in a tea bag. And the legality of kratom, this one is not fully legal in states at the moment. There are currently 43 states that's considered legal. They are doing the legislation, and the remaining 7, which is not. And I believe, the lawmakers are currently working on it, because this is something that involves so many people, so very big amounts of population. So this is the survey of adult kratom users in the States. I got it from Johns Hopkins University. So as you can see, 84% has at least some college degrees. So it means kratom users are educated people. They have more reference. They know that it is organic. It doesn't have to do anything with chemicals. So, which is 61% are women. Then why? Most of the people use it for pain relief. I don't know, it's just normal human being. We feel pain sometimes, after a day of workout, or I've been after stressful hours in the office, so we can take it to reduce whatever is anxiety or pain. So up to the 41% to treat opioid withdrawal. So it makes a good amount of kratom users to treat opium. Okay, what about the side effects? The side effects, 19% is mild, which is very low that people got these side effects, may compared to other drugs, of course. And this one, you can see there are 9.5% withdrawal people that feel withdrawal symptom after not taking kratom for a while. So this is like very tiny compared to other traditional drugs, which you can have maybe up to 90%, withdrawal symptoms if you're using hard drugs like heroin. So this is like nothing on the order of concern compared to those traditional opioid. It is not drug actually. Okay. Then next, the survey findings, it is concluded that psychoactive compound of kratom, somewhat similar to opioids, likely has a lower rate of harm than prescription opioids for treating pain, anxiety, depression, and addiction. U.S. drug agencies should seek to study and regulate rather than banning kratom. This is important, guys. Sales outright because of its seemingly safe therapeutic potential and as a possible alternative to opioid use. The AKA, American Kratom Association, estimates around 10 to 15 million people use kratom. That these new survey findings suggest that kratom doesn't belong in the category of Schedule 1 drug because there seems to be relatively low rate of abuse potential and there may be medical applications to explore, including as a possible treatment for pain and opioid use disorder. So the problems though with kratom industry is because more and more people getting food contamination or foodborne illness from consuming kratom. So it's not about the product effects, it's about the excess, the unnecessary contamination microbiologically that occurs in the product. So in 2018, you can see there is like outbreak in salmonella contamination. You can see the chart there, it's like 13 in 2011 and increased to 682, calls reported for kratom exposure. So this is like very huge increase. Then you know why that happened? Because it happens, farmers and suppliers in Indonesia, all maybe 90% of them, they dry the kratom leaves on the roadside, which is very prone to contamination. You can see the dog. The dog here, maybe you don't get the same dog, but could be like other rooster or cat that's stepping on your kratom. So this hygiene issue like really brought me an attention of how are we going to drive this industry forward. Do we want to make it like a sustainable industry, as a beneficial for everyone? Or we just make it, because here, you see, when a thing is considered in gray area, I mean, we're dealing with public opinion. We have to win public opinion on this kratom. So, the lawmakers don't make it illegal, don't classify it as drugs. So this is the steps that we need to make sure how to sustain, the kratom future. This is the example of those leaves that's dried on the roadside. You can see the pictures in the middle is full of bacteria and contamination, and you see on the right side it's clean. What makes a difference between this clean and hygienic kratom compared to others? It's only a small difference. It's whether you dry it on the roadside or you dry it inside the house or in drying house. It makes a lot of difference already. So, with such a small amount of investment, which we are doing right now, I mean, we're providing these drying racks to farmers so they don't have to build the house. They can just put it in their homes. So we are giving away for this is like part of government program as well. So we are really pushing through all the kratom farmers to have dried their leaves inside the home. So not anymore on the roadside. That is like one huge task that we have to complete, but it is not difficult. The thing that wants me so confident is because the market is huge. And it is not science rocket to do any improvement on the kratom product, so we just do whatever it takes to deliver our consumers the safest kratom product. So this is like a medium to long-term solution by the government. So you have to impose a set of documents needed for kratom imports to the States. Be it phytosanitary, I hope like one of the customs or FDA people is here. One of the simple ways by imposing these import documents, you can ask for exporters to provide phytosanitary certificate, like it is issued by Ministry of Agriculture. Then you can ask the vendor to provide certificate analysis of independent lab. That is not difficult. You can just send the sample over to the lab and get it through your buyer. It's not expensive as well. Then quality assurance certificates. These GMP, HACCP, ISO certification bodies, they should put kratom in one of their lists, in their allowed list of certified products. Because nowadays people are having difficulties to find any certification body that does, GMP or ISO certificates for a kratom company. So this is like a collective work that we have to, encourage these companies to make it for kratom powder. Then the second one would be regulate kratom imports to states with proper declaration. Of course, this is important to ensure traceability, control of the flow of incoming goods. Every time I export kratom, we have to make a false declaration. We have to declare it is not for human consumption. So how could this product that is used by so many people could have this kind of, import gain in states. So this is something that we really have to focus on by imposing this set of documents. Whenever they provide false documents, just blacklist the company. So it is not something that is difficult. Then determine self-limit for use and allowed processing method. This is what I mean is when you want to have, a glass of beer, they shouldn't give you like a glass of alcohol like ethanol. Then this one is important, like to say how many percent, if mitragynine in the product is allowed, how many milliliters or milligrams that the consumer can use in a day. This is like, these guidelines has to be set by government. That's why we have to work together between practitioner and the government. We have to sit down and talk about it. Then the consumers advocacy group, aka I hope is here. This is one of the program that you can do to improve Kratom standard, is that your GMP participation shall be extended to overseas companies, particularly Indonesia. Indonesia is where all this stuff come from. So you have to provide list of suspected, because a lot of vendors in Indonesia, they just anyhow tell they're producing Kratom, but once they get the money, they just don't deliver the goods. So this is like important to give a heads up to the consumers. You have a list where consumers is currently been in talk or in discussion with certain company. They can check on its background. We have to have this kind of forum to inform people about which company is good, which is not good for doing Kratom business. Then by distributors or consumers, it is recommended to only buy Kratom products from GMP certified vendors. You can also request certificate of analysis for every purchase batch, which I think maybe like the store scale. Whenever you buy maybe 5 kilograms, 20 kilograms, you can just ask for the certificate of analysis, send it to the lab. We have to make sure the product we are distributing is safe. So last but not least, so whether is it Kratom fear-worthy foliage or beneficial botanical? So Kratom is perceived by majority of the people as a more beneficial botanical as compared to the dangerous one. It attributes to a sizable market in the US industry, and in terms of economic value, it already exceeded like $2 billion industry a year. And user segments, 10 to 15 million people is not small population. You can make a country out of that number. So government should work with practitioners, with manufacturers, with distributors to regulate Kratom imports and distributions in USA. Kratom can be said it has marginal amount of fatal cases compared to other illicit drugs. We're talking tens of thousands of people died every day for overdose from other drugs. But this one, some people can try drinking water. So if you take too much things in excess, it won't do good to your body. So we have to take it in a moderation. And most importantly, Kratom could be fear-worthy foliage if practitioners do not address. And so we have to resolve this issue to make this industry sustainable. So that's pretty much it from me. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure, been an honor to be here. So yeah, I guess it's done. Is there any questions? Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.